we find relationships in Korea here to be really fascinating. And in particular, this idea of what is often referred to as a collectivist culture or a communitarian culture.
Professor, I have a question. So what is the exact meaning of collectivist culture? How can you understand it?
That's a very perfect question to keep us going.
Thank you.
We walk through the world with ideas about right and wrong and good and bad. This is morality and this is ethics. And so our questions about right and wrong are always shaped by two questions. Is it right and wrong for me, or is it right and wrong for other people? And in cultures that are individualist oriented, the people tend to see the world through the question of, what is best and what is right and what is good for me as an individual? And people from a more collectivist or communitarian-oriented culture, what is right, what is best, what is good for other people? That is the essential difference. Everything that we do is in this balance between other people and ourselves. So for the panel, actually, one question is, when you think about a collectivist culture, what comes to mind for you as Koreans?
전 가끔 이제 좀 우리나라에서 태어난 게 좀 자랑스러운 순간을 꼽으라면은 좀 어려울 때 우리나라 분들 좀 잘 뭉치지 않습니까? 얼마 전에 뭐 산불도 그렇고 밥차라든지 생필품을 다들 십시일반해서 그분들 좀 돕는 이런 문화들이 저는 좀 가장 먼저 생각이 나네요.
저도 좀 비슷한 맥락에서 좀
네네.
활발하게 많은 분들이 모여서 자원봉사를 다니는 그런 문화를 봤을 때 남을 돕는 것을 되게 기꺼이 생각하고 실천하는 모습에서 좀 되게 멋있다는 느낌을 많이 받았습니다.
성범 씨는?
그리고 또 한국인들 하면 제일 큰 특징이 정이 있다는 거죠.
중요하죠.
이게 정확히 영어로 번역하기 되게 어려운 단어라고 우리만 갖고 있는 거라고 하던데 그래서 저는 사회책으로 배우긴 했지만 뭐 IMF 때 금 모으기 운동이라던가
본 적 없죠?
네, 본 적은 없습니다.
네, 여기
그때
실제 내신 분들 몇 분
네,
계세요?
없었습니다, 세상에. 네.
근데 여기 계세요. 혹시 금 모으기 운동 때 금 내보신 분 회장님들
와,
다 계시네.
우리 세상의 히어로들입니다.
실제 IMF 때 우리나라 살리신 분들이죠.
You know, these are the kinds of things that we read about from outside of Korea. And the examples you just gave are three of the examples that I often see in textbooks about this. Yeah. So Korea is really held in this way and understood in this way. What do you see? What does this mean?
It's really just about, it's the Venn diagram. So I would say in individualist or collective society, we can see here just like we can see two individuals and their relationship.
But what happens here in a place like Korea is this part in the center gets a little stronger. And whereas in our country, this part still gets a little weaker, and then actually the rings push apart. And so, what is an example of this? So you say, I saw this the first time when on a Sunday we went to Mart and it was closed. And I said, how's it closed? This was a couple years ago. I said, this is crazy. And I said, when your large stores, your large entities will close down a couple days every month. Wow, yeah, this really is important, which is the Distribution Industry Development Act.
맞아. Yes.
So that the small stores, the small establishments don't get put out of business.
That's amazing.
The store Costco or Walmart or these big stores, if you told average Americans that twice a month all of those stores were going to close on a Sunday, Americans would have a revolution.
No.
And even
You think they would have a revolution?
I think it would be close.
상상할 수 없는 행동이구나.
You will sacrifice your own individual needs for the greater good of society. We do it as well in the United States. We do these kinds of things, but you do it much more often. I'll give you another example. So, homelessness, where you have a homeless problem in Seoul, such as the person in this photo by Seoul Station. This is terrible. It's sad. It's unfortunate.
In Washington, D.C. last summer, I was there for a couple days. Yeah, every park, every corner, because people were outside of the small stores, like waiting to ask people for food when they came out. And it was, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing homeless people and literally stepping over people in certain places.
So, but let's put this together in a different kind of way. If Seoul had the same homeless problem that Los Angeles has, different size population, so if you change the population, you have the same problem, you would have 120,000 homeless people in Seoul. That right outside this building, there would be homeless people sleeping in the corners. In an individualist-oriented society, you see, they're responsible for their homelessness. But in a communitarian or collectivist society, it's all of our problem. Here's another one, like gun homicides. What? We have 50 gun homicides every 24 hours in the United States. And what we are saying is, this is not our problem. And you think that. This is individual problems. You go solve it. As a society, we are not going to solve this problem.
충격이다, 충격.
But yeah, this is what we are left with, is we can't make decisions together that would serve the entire population because we can't agree.
And you don't accept this. This is just, it's not going to happen here. Why? Because you are a community of people who connect to one another, you live together, and you feel a sense of responsibility toward one another. So here's another thing, crime. This is a picture of Bogota in Colombia. And we have a house in Colombia, in Bogota, Colombia. It's right in the center, this yellow area toward the top. And it's a relatively safe zone. But it's not a safe zone. So all of our friends in Colombia have had their phones taken. Do this, you don't hold it here, this is crime. You put it in your front pocket, you don't put it in your back pocket.
오, 진짜?
Here in Seoul, so look at these crime zones. Here's Seoul. Here's Seoul.
검은색은 뭐야?
그냥 길에서 자도 된다?
So why do we continue to come back to Korea? Because the moment we land, we just feel free. I put my money in my pocket, I have my wallet, I can carry my passport around if I need it. It doesn't matter. And it feels, there's just something here. Here's, this is examples, right? This is here in Korea. There's a spill on the roadway and people are coming to pick it up. Now, this happens in the United States, of a truck that turns over and people jumping out of their cars and taking everything and running away with it. Now, you're also going to have examples of this, but you have many more examples of the other thing. How often has it happened that there's a truck spill and Koreans all come and they steal everything and they run away with it?